Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Get the chat window up. Live now. Good, good. All right. I got the chat up. What's up, Michael? Let me pop this chat window out so I can see it. What's up, Matt? What's up, Fatty? Fatty Ma 4, I guess. Is that how you say it? Maybe. All right. Pop-up chat. I apologize that we are starting a little later than usual. But here we are. Here we are. Where'd my chat bubble go? There it is. All right. What's up, John? What's up? What's up? All right. So let's do this. So tonight, what I'm going to try to do tonight is, let me share my screen. Share screen. So last week, this is what we kind of ended with last week. We had the beginnings of, this is the very first rough sketch that I put together last week, and of the family, of the Robinson family crest. And just for some context, I'm going to end up having a helmet, like a knight's helmet right here. That'll have feathers on top somehow with a little slit in the visor. It'll probably end up being smaller than that, like about this big, because I'll be putting either the name of the deck, Heraldry, or Robinson up here somehow. And then on these side panel scrolls, there is a, I can't remember what it was, that's the traditional motto for the Robinson family. And this is just like what historically, I think it's like faithfulness and loyalty or something like that. And so I may have those written here in like Latin and then something else down here. But probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Robinson or Heraldry up here. And then I probably have kind of some of the sayings that I've used a lot in Kingswild, like aim small, shoot straight in Latin or something like that. Or it'll probably actually be work with your hands, mind your own business, and let your daily life, or something like that. Some of the stuff that I put on a lot of my things. I haven't quite decided yet. That's just kind of context. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to work on this part here, the actual crest and seal, the meat and potatoes of this. And I'm going to be drawing a little bit more refined drawing of this elk or stag. It doesn't say specifically what kind of animal it is, but it says like a stag or an elk or a buck or something. So I'll be drawing this stag, and then I'll also be drawing this three-leafed clover as well. So it should be pretty simple and straightforward. I'll probably start with the three-leaf clover because that'll just be the simplest. I'll probably start with that, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So let's get started. As always, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat bubble, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm much less chatty when I start drawing, but that's only because I'm just drawing. So I'm going to start. Let me see what my resolution is. So it's nice and big, so I can draw. I can zoom this in and draw on this right here. All right, so I'm going to take this first layer, my very first drawing, and get rid of it. And then I'm going to take this second rough draft drawing and bring it down to a very low opacity. I'm going to bring it to the top just so I can see it and try to center it up. And then I'm just going to draw this. I'm going to start with some basic geometric shapes only because I'm getting to the final. This will probably most likely be the final element of this cloverleaf, and so I'm gonna make sure that it is legit and to the KW standards. So I'm just gonna make 3 circles. I'm gonna make the first one a smidge bigger than the 2 subsequent ones because that's the way I usually do clovers or clubs. And obviously this is going to easily become a club indices later, so that's an easy win and a no-brainer, obviously. So I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller, and I'm really just drawing this as a guide. So there we go, and then I'm going to make these 2 layers, merge these 2 layers, and bring the opacity down like that. And then now I'm just going to start drawing. Not much to it, just me going to sketch. Let me get my super slick drawing glove on because I can't do it without my drawing glove, right? Where is that? There it is. There it is. All right, so let's see here. I hope you all had fun at the auction tonight. That was a lot of fun, for sure. All right, I'm going to get my drawing. That's a little bit larger brush. And if you're wondering what kind of brush I use, for drawing, for the majority of my drawing, I use a hard-edged round brush that is set up to be pressure sensitive. So the lighter I press, the lighter it is. And I'm only going to draw half of this because I can just duplicate it. So it's going to have a little bit of a point, come around like that. I don't know what happened there. I need this circle over here because I'm left-handed. Oops. And it's easier for me to draw on the right side, this kind of stuff. So I'm going to pull this over here to right there. The auction for tonight was the Intaglio deck. And the Intaglio deck was a deck of cards that I hand engraved all of the copper printing plates that were used to print the deck in a traditional Intaglio printmaking style on an Intaglio printing press. Now the stem I've seen on a lot of these crests for this family crest, they have like this little almost like tadpole tail that I really like. All right, so I've got the basic shape. Now I'm just going to duplicate it and I'm going to reflect it over. Just like that. I'm going to erase that bottom part that I do not need. Then I'm going to connect this line with that stem. Now for this part, I'm going to have, this is my symmetry line. I don't really have to be symmetry, but I'm going to come up here. I'm just going to draw this as my guide. Well, I should have probably start from the bottom. So it's going to come up like this. About like that. So I'm going to use that line as my kind of guide for this stem. And so the stem will come up like this, and then taper off to a point, and then come back down start to widen about like that. Maybe, maybe not. I don't like how that, obviously I'm going to need to go, it's going to need to come up and turn for these as well. Now that I've got this different, now that I got the flow of these veins going correctly, I'm going to alter the way the top of these leaves kind of terminate so it matches. So I'm going to go up here and erase the tops. Well, I need to merge them first. Now I'm going to erase the top, and then I'm going to make it, I'm going to make that curl match that vein. So it'll come up like that. So it has a little bit of a twist and also a little bit of asymmetry as well. And that'll give the, and to make this leaf match, I guess I don't have to. Come over here and do the same thing for here. So that's going to curl under. And this will slightly come over the top like that. Clean that up. Sharpen these points. Now I can go back in. I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I had planned. I'm going to come up like this. Trail that off. Trail that off. And then bring this one to a point. And I may end up not liking this. We'll see. Because these are going to be pretty small. And I may have to. Yeah, well, no, I'm drawing it with a. I'm drawing it with. I'll show you. I'll unshare my screen just for a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Sorry if you get seasick. I'm going to pick up my camera right quick to show what I'm doing if I can. So here's my monitor. If I get my cord out of the way, here's my monitor, and I got my monitor here, and I'm just drawing right on the monitor like that. So that's what you're seeing. So you're just seeing me draw like this. That's what you're seeing. So I'm drawing it with a stylus pen on my monitor, my tablet monitor. Let's see here. All right. Share my screen again. All right. So I'm going to come back in here, finish this one. Now I've got enough of the drawing now that I'm going to get rid of these old drawings, just so I can get an idea of what I'm working with here. It is a Wacom Cintiq 24 inch. All right, so I'm gonna do one version of this with this thick vein, and then I'm gonna do a version with it doesn't have a thick vein, because I don't know which one I'm gonna like better or not. And it's not gonna be that much trouble to do one with and one without. So doesn't kill your back? No, it doesn't. I try to have good posture when I'm sitting. Now, obviously, I mean, it definitely takes a toll if I'm sitting here all day doing it. The Ace of Spades will definitely have this herald, the family crest on there somehow. I don't know, though. Other than that, I don't know. So I'm just going to sketch the veins here, the direction of the veins. Feel good about that. I'm just kind of roughing these in to get the direction, because this is all going to be my engraving style. And so I'm going to want to pick a light source. So my light source is going to be coming from over here. And so the way this is going to work is if you did a cross section of these leaves, you'd see that they're like this. And this part's like the vein. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have there's going to be a small ridge on the edge to give it shape. So I'm just going to sketch that in, because I'm going to need these ridges and these lines as a guide for when I do the engraving lines, like that. And then probably what it's going to be is I'm going to make this side, make a new layer. I'm going to make this side dark, this side kind of in shadow, and this side in shadow, and then this side in shadow. And maybe a little bit of this down here. And then this side of the vein as well as that one. All right, let's see. Now, what I'm gonna do now is I've got all my kind of establishing lines, and then I'll have a shadow, a little bit of a shadow here behind the ridge, the same as this behind the ridge to give it some form. And then I'll have a slight light spot on this ridge to give it a little of an embossing feel, to give that back ridge some body. And I'm really just painting those in just to give me the idea of where I'm going to do the engraving lines. Because, yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make my new layer, and I'm going to start doing the final engraving lines. So I'm just going to start here. Like that, and then this. Yes, this is Photoshop. Sorry, didn't see that question. Now I'm going to go in and add Sorry, I'm getting quiet. Just creating the forms with the engraving lines. I'm not engraving this with plates. I'm just merely creating an engraving style of illustration with the way that I am illustrating it. And there'll be more lines on this one because it's going to be in a little bit darker value because it's in shadow. It's supposed to be in shadow. I'm just trying to make sure that I maintain the form of the leaf with the direction of my engraving lines or the contour lines, because obviously I can't do like shading, so I kind of have to explain the shape and the form of the leaf only using the lines. And they're also a little bit stylized leaves as well, just because it's illustrative. Go ahead and save what I've got just in case it crashes on me. All right, looks like I'm up to date. Now, usually when I start doing my cross hatching, I usually do my cross hatching on a different layer because sometimes I don't like it, and so sometimes I like to just delete it, depending on how it goes. Just add a little bit of a ridge to this to give it a little bit of form, and just a smidge right here, and then one right here, and then here, one right here, one down here. And add a few more lines to these darker areas. Feeling good about that. Now I'm gonna zoom back a little bit. I'm gonna take out these layers just so I can really get an idea of what it's gonna start looking like. And I'm feeling good about that. I probably could push these darker sides a little bit more. So I'm gonna go and beef these shadow lines up a little bit just to really darken that shadow side up. Just kind of thicken up the bases and kind of leaving the middles alone. Same for this one. All right, I'm going to make a new layer. So there's kind of a, let me save that. Well, I've got it. Get rid of this arrow so it quits distracting me. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to add this just because I can. I'm going to bring a new layer down here. I do listen to music when I'm doing this. Absolutely. I love music. The only problem is I can't listen to music while I'm doing this because obviously YouTube would get me for copyright infringement because I'm playing somebody else's music on here. Lame, I know, but that's the reality. So I'm just going to create, I have a new layer here, and I'm just going to create a shadow, like a drop shadow layer. Now, I have tons of brushes that I make. And I have this really cool brush that I have that makes horizontal hatched lines that I make, and it works great for this type of stuff. So I'm going to fill in this. I'm going to fill in this. Fill in this drop shadow with some horizontal lines. Make it a little bit thicker, probably like that. It's probably where I want. So I'm just going to fill this in with my horizontal line brush. There we go. Now I'm going to make a new layer. Go back to my hard brush, my hard round brush. I'm going to beef up the back edge of this with a thicker line just to bring it out more. These are not the club pips. These are the clover leaves that are on the family crest. Here's the context of it. These are these little clover leaves that are in this family crest. And the family crest is what I'm working on tonight. However, these will for sure end up being the club pips for the deck, because that's an easy win. That's a no-brainer. So all right. So I'm going to make me one more layer. I'm pretty close to being finished with this. I'm going to just try one layer of crosshatch. I usually don't like crosshatch. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to do a few and see how I feel about it. All right. So I'm going to go this way with this one. And then just a few right here. All right. I don't mind them that much. We'll just leave them for now. The great thing is about computers is I put those on their own layer. I can just take them off. Michael asked, have you found that doing these live in front of an audience has made it easier or harder? It's not harder. I think if anything, like it's already 11 o'clock and I try to keep these under an hour. I know I started late on this one. I think the only thing is I definitely work more than an hour. And so by the time I've got into it about an hour, at about the time that I'm ready to stop the YouTube live, I'm just getting, especially with the drawing, I'm just getting warmed up in terms of like drawing and stuff like that. Because usually if it's like during the day, you know, I would come out in the morning and I get up really early and work in the morning, and then I would just warm up for like an hour or 30 minutes before I really start getting into it. And so basically by the time I'm ready to finish the episode, I'm just now getting warmed up and then I have to stop. So it's kind of more of just like spurts. So it's not harder. It's just I don't have as much time. All right. So I'm going to group all of these together. I think it's these layers here. Obviously some more. That one. So all of these layers make up the clover leaf. I'm going to take off that cross hatching for right now. Because these are going to be so small that I don't think you're going to be able to see it. I'm just going to shrink it a bit. I'm going to make sure it's in the center. Okay. Let me turn on my symmetry line again. Where'd it go? I don't know where it went. I'll have to find it. So now I'm just going to delete these. Well, I'm going to take this group. I'm going to name it Clover Leaf. I'm going to label it green because why not? Might as well. It's a leaf. Okay. And then I'm just going to take these two. Go away. I'm going to take these two clover leaves, bring them down in opacity, and I'm just going to take this clover leaf, duplicate it, bring it down. Like that. And then duplicate that one once more. And then I'm going to bring it. Actually, I'm going to flip it over here to get it in the right spot. Blank. Right there. And then I'm going to flip it again to make it match the direction. See crosshairs. All right. So there we go. I got our clover leaves. Yeah. Let's see. It's 11 o'clock. Man, I want to start on these elks, but I just think that I'm honestly super tired, and I don't think that I'm going to get a good result from it. But there we go. Sorry we couldn't do more tonight, but I think that's going to be about it. Let me delete these. We're making progress slowly but surely. So, but that gives you an idea of what the rest of the drawing is going to look like. So, I think next week I'll just go ahead and continue. Well, let me see here. I do have a picture of an elk that I like. Let me see. Look at it. I do like this elk here. I like the way I like his back foot. I don't think I want to start this. I don't want to start the elk because that's a longer process than the leaves, and I'm just I'm exhausted. But anyways, let me see here. So this is we're on the track. I know once I finish the seal that the rest of the deck will go faster because this is like the backbone of the entire deck or the entire style or look at the deck. Let me stop sharing here. So anyways, I think that's about it. I'm super tired. But anyways, I have really appreciated you guys joining me. This is the 6th. Wow. The 6th episode that I've done on this. And I'm sorry if it's slow, but that's just the way it goes because we're just I'm doing this in 1 hour spurts, and that's how I'm kind of designing this deck, and you're getting to see. I'm not doing any work outside of it because I want you guys to be able to see the entire process from concept to finished product. So that's just kind of why it's kind of going slow. But anyways, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Plan on being here next week on Sunday for episode 7. And we will keep going. I promise that next week we will have the seal finished and we'll put some color on it just to give you an idea of the color. And I'll probably do some. I'm thinking about having this deck like intaglio engraved, like I did with the 6'5" deck. The tuck case for the 6'5", that was intaglio engraved. The tuck case was, but this line work would really suit itself well for an engraved tuck case. And so I might have this one engraved. And so if we do that, next week I might, once I get the drawing done, I may do some mock-ups, some 3D mock-ups of like what it might look like engraved or letter pressed or something on green, on like a really nice deep green and a gold paper, just to get an idea of where it's going. Because I like shiny things and I want to see what it looks like. So that's about it. Thanks again, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the night. I'll see you guys this coming week. Got lots of good stuff we're going to be doing this week. And I'll see you next week. See you guys.